Hello and welcome to It's Not Too Late TV. Thank you for joining me. In this channel, I provide simple, beginner-friendly tutorials for individuals with little to no experience in computer technology. This is not going to be an introduction to Excel. Instead, I'm going to create a simple worksheet to help you keep track of your monthly expenses. I'm going to walk you through each step as I build the worksheet on screen, explaining each step in simple terms because this is not a tech channel. Now, if you're new to Microsoft Office, I suggest that you watch the tutorial for Microsoft Word because it would help you get familiarized with the workspace. Once you're ready, come back to this video and just follow along with me. By the end of this lesson, you will have a clear example of how Excel can be useful to you in your everyday life. Now, let's get started. To open Excel, go Start. You click EXC or see, Excel pops up. You open Excel. These are templates that you can work with if you need something from me, like a sales report, time card. But for me, every time I use Excel, I just use blank workbook and you open it up. So you get a blank workbook. But for this tutorial, I'm going to show you that I'm going to copy what I did here. And I'm going to show you a simple formula for you to be able to track your monthly expenses and get your remaining balance from your initial balance. Okay? Starting balance to remaining balance. So I'm going to start it here. Now, do you see this lines that go across your sheet? If you are in Excel and you have it open, you'll see these lines. So that's your sheet. That's one page. If you type anything past this line, it's going to go into a second page. If you type anything past down here, it's going to go into a second page. So if you want to keep everything on one page, you just be mindful of this. So I'm going to recreate the exact same formula I just created. I made a video already, but I don't like it, so I'm redoing it. And I'm going to show you how to do just this. All right. So now let's type up here monthly expenses. So the font size is going to be regular font size. And from here, I have it from cell A1 to H1. So here are the letters up here, the gray area. These are the columns. Column A, column B, column C, D, and whatever. These are rows, of course. So when I say column, you know what I'm talking about. This columns and rows is in this direction. You can change the font color. You can change the font style, type of text you're going to use, and the font size. I'm also going to show you how to use merge and center or the sum and use the accounting symbol or dollar symbols, dollar sign. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make this line bigger so that we can minimize it later on to show you an example. All right. So now monthly expenses. I am going to select this column right here, which is column R. It's R1. Why is it R1? Because the column, the letter is R up here in the cell number 1. So it's R1. So, okay, these boxes, each box is a cell. So now I'm going to select left mouse click from R1, drag it down, hold it down in the mouse and drag it down to Z. And we're going to change the text. We're going to change the font size to about 48. Is to the left. So a way that you can see your sheet, which I think is page number 3, you can go to file and print. That's what it looks like so far. So that's how I check it before I print it out. Okay, so I'll go back and I want to center this from R to Z. Okay, you use merge and center and it goes into the middle. All right. But it's too plain. I want to highlight it in this gray color. So we're going to paint bucket and you're gonna choose the shade of gray that you want. So let's see what it looks like. Go into File, hit Print, and go to that sheet. You see monthly expenses. How did I go to that sheet? That is sheet number 3. See right here? No, there's 3 sheets. It's nothing on 2, it's on 3. All right, so now let's go back with this arrow right here. Click left. And okay, so now I want to put a border around here because this looks too plain. You go up here into the ribbon under the home menu, and you click down the drop down and you look for thick outside border. I'll show you how to use some of these a little later on. For now, thick outside border, and it gives it the border. How do I know? Let's go back to File, Print, and this is what your document looks like. There are many ways to do what I'm showing you. I'm just showing you the simple way for those of you who are not used to using Excel. So now we're gonna label the 2 columns that we're using. Okay, so one of them is for expenses and the other one's the amounts, which is money amounts. See, I put the $ right next to it. So let's name this one expenses. Expense, I'm sorry. And let's skip S and go to T2. See right here, number 2 and column T. We're gonna name this amount. And just because we're doing the exact same thing, we're gonna put a $ there. My fonts are too small, it looks too plain. Let's give it a little color. Again, you select R2, hold down your mouse button, the left mouse button, you drag all the way to Z. You select again, fill color, and we're going to use the same green. I want a different green. Shoot that. Now there's another thing you want to do. Make the font bigger. It's too small. So let's go up here, font size, where you see the number, and let's choose 16. You also want to center it in that cell. So you go up here and hit this center, not this merge and center. Merge and center is when you choosing more than one row to work with. So you go here and you center it. But I can hardly see the letters, so what I want to do, I want to expand that column. So you go up here where it's gray, where you see the column letters, and go between R and S. You have to be between the two, okay? R and X. It turns into a cross with an arrow on each side of the cross, and you just select it, hold your left mouse button down, and you drag a little bit until it exposes the text that you wanna see. The same thing, go up to T2 and drag next to T and double, because you have to do it on the right side, otherwise you'll be expanding this one. You want to expand T, so you go to the right of the letter and hold down your mouse button and drag it. Okay, we're gonna have to do this one a little bit more, and there you have it. Okay, now let's go to print just to look at your page, see the layout. We gotta go to page 3. This looks too simple. Let's put a border around here. Okay, go ahead, you clicked on R2 and you drag it all the way here. Oh, we went over. So I'll show you what this is gonna look like in a minute. We're not gonna put the border yet, and we're gonna remove this border. The way you remove a border, you go back into the borders and you choose no border, and it removes it. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to show you how it's going to look if you print it out in that manner. So I'm glad that happened, because now it's 4 pages. You see that? And this is what it's gonna look in the 4th page, and you don't want to waste ink or your pages. So you go back again, we go back. I'm glad we're going back and forth so you can learn this. So the reason why it went to a 4th page is because I expanded the font size. That's why. So now we're going to have to, we choose this and we remove it. I have to go back and remove that, and I have to remove also this shade of green. I have to remove fill colors. Why are we here? Oh, this is why. Okay, so the reason why there's still 4 pages is because the monthly expenses. So when I merge and center, I centered it all the way past here. So we're gonna undo that. So it's back to normal, and I'll show you that. Print. So now we only have 3 pages, okay? Let's go back. Now monthly expenses here. We choose all the way to Y. We no longer need to go to Z because we know that takes you to the next page. And we do the same thing with the bottom part. And we want to do green here, and we want to do gray here. And now we put the borders back. I want to give it a grid line here. So you go into all borders, okay? And you do this. So now take another look at your page. This is what it looks like. I think it looks pretty good. So with this type of layout, if you had other columns that you wanted to add, that's why you have that there. And I didn't have to make this that big. I just chose to do it the size of my page. So basically when it prints, it's gonna print just like you see here in, you know, whatever I'm gonna add. So if I were you, if I was printing out a sheet like I was doing it at work or whatever, I would center this with the margins. And maybe I'll show you how to do that. Maybe, I don't know. Depends on how long this video takes. I'll show you how to adjust the margins to make it look a little centered. Now let's work on our monthly expense. Let's start by typing these. Now you see I'm selecting this, I'm copying this, and I'm gonna paste it over there instead of typing it up. But I want you to type it up because you don't have what I have, so type it up. Rent/housing. Housing. That's how you spell housing? That's not how you spell housing. Let's correct this. Now you see how I misspelled housing here? You can go up here. You can select that cell. It's already selected. And you can click up here and backspace to delete it. You see this check mark right here? That means you are good with it and it corrected it. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna say Control-C to copy it, and I want to put it in R4 because over here is in R1. Look, this escape removes this from being selected. All right, so you have to hit the escape key on your keyboard, and I'm gonna do Control-C to copy it, and I'm gonna paste it over here. Over here, this is A4. I'm gonna copy A4 by hitting on my keyboard Control-C and copying it in R4 by hitting Control-V. As you see here, I'm running into some trouble, so I'm gonna have to expand this. All right, so let's expand this. So we want to make sure that we eliminate that problem by going between R and S and expanding that row over. See, move it over. So you select it and you just move it over to, you see the word where you want it. And now we're going to minimize this row because we're not using it. So again, we go between S and T. You see when the T comes up, that plus signs with the arrows on the side, you drag it to the left to the size that you want it. So now we have room to play. So the second one is rent and housing. We're gonna put the money later. So right now we use utilities, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. I'm gonna do that with all. You just type them up. Control C to copy, Control V to paste on your keyboard, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Now, this one thing I want to tell you, just in case you don't know what you're doing. When you're typing, I'm going to type nothing on that one, total expense, total spent, total spent. To go to the next line, you have to hit enter and it'll take you there. And you want to enter twice to go to 3 below and then starting balance and hit enter. Remaining BAL and hit enter. So select cell S4. Select it. You see where my mouse is? Right here between this small cell, this small column S. You drag all the way down to S18. And you want to kind of, to just make it look like something. You want to highlight this row right there. And what color am I going to choose? Yeah, I'm going to choose the darker shade of gray. We're going to keep that there. We're going to select it again. All the way up, all the way down. Remember, drag down the top cell and you drag all the way down to the last cell. And I want to just give it a big outside border. That's what I want to do. Okay? Now I'll show you where we at so far. Let's go to print. This is where we at so far. Alright? That's what it's looking like. Alright. So now with these, we also want to give it all borders. So you go back into the borders and you give it all borders. All right. Now, another thing we're going to do, we're going to choose from cell T4 and we're going to drag it with our left mouse button all the way to the bottom here and use the all borders, which is already there. We're going to do that. Boom. Again, I'll show you file, print, and this is what it's going to look like so far. It's looking like something, right? Now you see here where there's borders missing. This is what you want to do. We go back to it and you choose this and you give it, well, you could do all borders here and then just give it the border that it needs. Let's see if it did it. If not, I'll show you how you can fix that. So okay, total expense, it did it. Total expense. But if it hadn't done it, for example, total expense doesn't have a border, right? You can choose, let's say it has 3 borders, but it's missing the left border, and you can give it a left border. If it's missing the top border, you can give it a top border, bottom border, and so on. So in this case, this is missing everything. So, and we're just gonna highlight this total spent a different color. We're gonna fill it in same blue. I like this blue. Yeah, I like this blue. Let's use this blue. And these, we want to go with the green like we did on the top. We're going to use the same green. Okay? Alright. Alright, so we're going to bold this. Now, I didn't show you how to bold because I copy and paste, but we're going to do it with these two up here. We're going to bold them. Just select them and press B. Select it and press B. That's it. You select whatever it is that you need and you press bold. Like here, this is not bold. What if I wanted to make it bold? I make it bold. If I wanted to change the font for that one, I change the font. I change this, the font style. Monthly expenses. Let's keep it like that. It's kind of crazy. So now, with the amount, okay, this is where it gets good. Let's type whatever you see on the left, and I'm gonna do it with you. 1500, enter. 300, enter. 150, enter. 100, enter. 70, enter. 40, enter. 120, enter. 80, enter. 75, enter. And starting balance, we're gonna say it's $5,000, and then the remaining balance we leave it blank. And this is why. This is your total expenses. Okay, I did something wrong. Let's see. So now we're gonna leave this blank because we're gonna total this up first. And let me put, what did I do wrong here? Now you see what I did? I took, you see this? When it turns into a four-way arrow now, 4 ways, not 2 no more, it's 4-way arrow. You drag it down to where I need it to be. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did over there. I'm going to highlight that row into the orange, and I'm gonna go right across here and do the same. And just for the sake of it, I'm gonna take off the 4-way border, and I'm gonna give it a thick outside border. So now we're at the good part. First of all, we wanna make these into money amounts because right now they're just numbers. So you select T4, you hold the mouse down, the left mouse button, you drag down to the miscellaneous line, which is T12, and you just hit this accounting number format. It's the $sign, and see, it turns it now, it gives you, now it's money amount. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing with these two, even though there's nothing here. You give it money amount and total spent. You want to do the same thing. You could just put it with no numbers be in there. So it goes from, as you can see, it's general until you change it. Now it's accounting. Now it goes from general to accounting. I'm going to show you again. It says general because it's all of this is numbers, and you're going to give it accounting sign. So whatever number you put here now is going to be a money amount. So now again, you select T4 and you drag with your left mouse button all the way to T14, and you click the order sum button. It's going to add that up. Order sum button one time, boom. That's the sum of all these bills together. So what do we do with the remaining balance? This one is so much fun. This is your very first formula. You hit the equal sign on your keyboard, just equals, right? 5,000, which is where I selected right now. You just have to select it, that's it. And you hit minus on your keyboard, and then you hit this one. You click in here. And you have two choices. You could either hit enter or you could hit this check mark right up here. It's same. See, it says enter, and I'm gonna hit the check mark for this one, and it gives me the remaining balance after all bills are paid. If starting balance is $5,000, you pay all your bills, and this is what you got for the rest of the month. That's what you're looking at right there. This was not a step-by-step. It was a simple tutorial to show you how you can track your expenses. It's easy and plain, and it gives you an opportunity to get comfortable with Excel. So now let's look at it before we print it out. Look at what it's looking like. I like the way it looks. If you're happy with what you did, just press enter and you got your first Excel worksheet with a simple formula. Let's see. Oh, I said I was going to show you the margins. For the margins, you go to page layout. It's going to tell you the margins, the orientation. Now you can either put this right now. If you look when you at your example before you print it, work with page one because it's the same thing. So you could tell here that it is portrait, right? From top to bottom. If you wanted to have it sideways, that's when you adjust the margins, or that's when you adjust the page orientation. You give it landscape. And now, what's wrong with landscape? You're going to have to take all this and move it over. So I'll show you what happens when you put it landscape. Print. See? It cuts off some of it. Not on page one, but if we go to page 3, you can see that it's cut off. But on page 1, it's just fine. So if I wanted to print it out, it will come out landscape. Margin. You want to center it a little bit. So you might want to go 1. Oh no, that moved it over. So you don't want to do that. You want to undo that. Put it back where it was. Margin. Here we are. We're back. So you could do a custom margin. Custom margin. Now, this is what it is on the top. This is what it is on the bottom. And you want to be able to move it over some. So let's see what it looks like. Preview, print preview. It's called print preview. See how I moved it over a little bit? It looks better that way. Again, you go into margins. You go into custom margin. And you want to move it over some. From this point on, you can press save and press print. Now, every month, you can either go back into your spreadsheet that you just created, change these numbers up, and this is just going to change the total. Let me show you. See, I changed this to 500, and when I hit enter, see, this changes. If I put 0 here and I hit enter, this changes. So this is fine. This is the only formula that you have right here. Put the 70 back, print out your sheet, you know what you're working with. This is what you spent. So your remaining balance, like I said, your remaining balance is, you touch equals this minus this. And again, that's how much money you're working with. Let's be a little realistic with the rent. Today's rent. Alright, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. Bye bye.